Shalom, brothers and sisters. I want to do this short video in reference to 52 weeks in a year. So it's 52 weeks in a year. Now, this is all canned chicken that y'all looking at. This is canned chicken. This is 2 cans right here. This is the way I buy them. I usually get them in the 2-pack. And when they run out of the 2-pack, then I grab the single cans, but I still always grab them in 2s. So, make a long story short, this is 22 cans. There's actually 44 cans, but like I said, we deal with them in 2s, so every 2 is 1. So this is 22 cans right here, right? 22 cans. All of this came out of this one crate. This one crate. We got 16 of these crates, and each one of them hold 22 cans of chicken. Now, this is the moral to the story. It's 52 weeks in a year. That means this is 22. This is 22 we're looking at right now. That means if we ate chicken once a week, that'd be 22 weeks right there. 22 weeks worth of chicken. 22 weeks right here. So 52 cans, again, we're dealing with them as 2s, but we count every 2 as 1. So 52 cans is once a week for a whole year. Same thing with the beef stew. Same thing with the rice, the carrots and the peas. Same thing with the salmon. Same thing with the chicken soup. Same thing with the mac and cheese and Alfredo sauce and the tomato sauce. So the moral to the story is it's 52 weeks in a year. If you eating one product, this is rice. So you got rice and chicken. You got rice and beef stew. You got rice and, that's chicken eaten twice. But you got rice and chicken fried rice. And then you got rice and salmon. And then we have mac and cheese. Then we have rice and chicken noodle soup. Then we have mac and Alfredo sauce with chicken in it. But the point that I'm making is, then we got beans and rice with no chicken in it. So all I'm saying is this: 52 weeks. So that right there is 22 weeks out of the year if we ate it once a week right there. And then it's the same thing for the beef stew, same thing for the carrots and peas, same thing for the salmon, same thing. So everything is the same format. All right, now listen, I was telling y'all about the kerosene heater. So these are our 2 cooking styles: the kerosene heater and the wood stove. Okay, the kerosene heater takes a gallon of kerosene to fill that up. According to the specs in the directions, it says at 1 gallon that should burn on high for 12 hours. This is what it says in the specs. Okay. Let's just say, for the sake of saying, instead of 12 hours, let's say 10 hours. Let's say we get 10 hours worth of burn time out of that. We only burning that 1 hour a day, every day, right? For 20 weeks. So 20 weeks out of the 52 weeks, we'll use that to cook on. And then the other 32 weeks, that's the cold season. That's going into the fall, the winter, and then coming back into the spring. That's the 32 weeks. We'll be running that. And then this is the spring, the summer, going into the fall. That's the 20 weeks. We'll be running that. All right. So this right here, off of 1 gallon, right, is 10 hours. So that 1 gallon, we should get 10 days worth of cooking. It say 12 hours, right? But we're going to cut it down, cut 2 hours out of the picture and take it down to 10 hours. That means an hour a day, we'll get 10 days worth of cooking off of that 1 gallon, right? We have 110 gallons of kerosene. That 110 gallons, when you do the calculation, takes us 1,000. We talking in hours. Is 1,000 like 1,100 and something hours. You know what I'm saying? Which is, again, we dealing with days. So that'll take us, 1 gallon will take us 10 days. So we only using this day wise, I don't know, it's 20 weeks. So that's like almost 160 days. So it's like 160 days, 200 days, it's 365 days in a year. So it's like 100 or something days, almost 200 days we'll be using that. Then the balance we'll be using that. But anyway, we have enough kerosene for that to last for 5 years off of the 110 gallons right there at an hour a day for 20 weeks. An hour a day for 20 weeks. You know what I'm saying? We got enough to last for 5 years or close to it to run that. Kerosene, the wood and the coal, I don't really know how long that would last as far as lengthly wise, but I know being as though we don't have to run it all year long is going to stretch out. But anyway, so this is the thing. It's a timeline to everything that's going on. God has set the timeline, and the timeline is for 3.5 years. This is the timeline. You know what I'm saying? If this stuff went on too long, wouldn't nobody survive? You know what I mean? What's going on? Just the chaoticness of what's going on in the world would drive people batty. Would nobody be able to survive it? That's why the Bible says time is going to be cut short for the elect's sake. So the moral to the story is, it's a timeline to this. Now, going back to my food, if our food was to dwindle down, not run out, but dwindle down from miscalculations of everything that's going on, God would extend the food and keep it going, all because I was obedient by preparing to begin with. You see what I'm saying? It's just like Elijah and the widow in the Bible, when the widow, it was a famine, and Elijah went to the widow and said, listen, make me something to eat. And she said, if I make you something to eat, me and my son, we gonna die because I only have a little bit. He said, don't worry about it. Make me something to eat, and the Lord will provide for you. And she made him something to eat. And as the Bible states, the account states that God didn't allow her oil and her flour to go out to, run out. But that's in the Bible. But when you read the other books, this is what it adds to the story, because the Bible is just a narrative. It says in the other books that God had gave her so much, she was getting so much flour and so much oil that she was able to sell it to the other people. Remember, they was in a famine. So God made her supplies overflow, and it was overflowing to the point she was able to sell it to the other people and sustain their lives, and at the same time became wealthy from that. The Bible don't tell you that part of the story. But anyway, another story I want to use, Joseph, the 12th tribe, the patriarch Joseph from the land of Egypt. When in the Bible, when God revealed to Joseph the dream that the Pharaoh had in reference to the 7 years of plenty and then the 7 years of famine. Remember that after the Pharaoh made the decree that they was going to start planning for the 7 years of famine, not only did Egypt start saving up, but the people, the citizens that was hearing the report, they started saving up grain too. And in the end of it all, their grain went bad. God had maggots and everything eat their grain up, so they had to submit to the Pharaoh. And this is how the Pharaoh ended up getting everybody into slavery. Countries, not just the Israelites and the mixed multitude. It was countries that he was, because the call went out to store up. It's not like that call didn't go out and everybody said, oh, no. People were storing up too. But God made their stuff go bad, so they had to go humble themselves to Pharaoh and subject themselves to him. If not, they would have been able to weather that storm. but they couldn't because God made it that way. So the moral to the story here is, again, it's a timeline to everything that's going on. You know what I'm saying? That timeline is a 3.5 year timeline. It's going to start sometime this year. When it's going to start, I don't know. But when it do, just know 3.5 years from that point on, everything's going to come to a complete end. I'm talking end where as though this system as we know it is going to be over. But people who's faithful to God, they're going to live on. They're going to be, placed into paradise. It's going to turn the earth back into a paradise. So the moral to the story is this, brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Calculate your supplies, because you don't have to really keep buying and buying and buying and buying. And you look around, you might have enough to what you need for one specific item, then you can move on to the next item. But if you have the timeline that God has given, then you'll know for sure that you have enough, because this is not going to last too long. It can't possibly last too long. Wouldn't nobody survive? You know what I'm saying? So that right there is 22. That right there is 22 weeks worth of chicken. 22 weeks worth, and each. That's one crate. That's the crate right there. I took everything out of the crate, set it up there. So everything that's in that crate, I have 16 of those crates. And all of them got 22 cases in it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, 22 cans in it. And then the other ones, I got at least six crates full of stuff. So the only thing I'm really going to top off is I'm going to top the salmon off, and I'm going to top off the chicken noodle soup, and I'm going to top off the I'm gonna call it the surprise cases. But I also have that soy sauce. So we have actually seven 1 gallon soy sauce. That's for the chicken fried rice, because I don't know how much soy sauce is going to take to make, you know what I'm saying, until we make the first one, then we can figure it out from that point on. But anyway, so brothers and sisters, so this is in reference to 52 weeks. And it's 52 weeks in a year. And if you planning stuff out by the year, you could deal with it week-wise. You know what I'm saying? Our menu is a 7-day menu. We have a 7-day menu set up. So that means about time we get back to the mac and cheese, by the time we get back to that, we'll be done with through everything else. So it won't be like, oh, you're constantly eating that, or we're constantly eating that, or we're constantly eating that. You know what I'm saying? By the time we make it all the way back around, that particular meal will become fresh again. So this is how we're planning. We're planning off of 52 weeks. 52 weeks in a year. And if we eat one specific thing, one day out of the 7 days, that means we'll be able to eat this one thing 52 times in a year. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we're planning. And then everything is based off of time. Same thing with this. We only got to use this 20 weeks out of 52 weeks, and we only got to use this 32 weeks out of 52 weeks. 52 weeks in a year. And this is how we're basing our preps. But I'm basing it, again, off of a timeline. And God gives the timeline. And praise be to God for that. Shalom.